Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new PennyWise podcast from Lee Enterprises. I'm your host, Teri Barr, and happy to have you here with us today. So, do you plan to make any New Year's resolutions? Well, exercising and, eating well, those are always great, of course. But why not make your resolution more money related instead this year? Jill Gonzalez is a spokesperson for WalletHub. Hi, Jill. Thanks for being here. And you're going to help us walk on through this, aren't you?
I sure am.
Okay, great, Jill. I saw a survey and it shows 1 in 3 Americans say their resolution is going to focus on finances in 2023. That seems like a big number. Does it surprise you?
I would say this year it doesn't necessarily surprise me. It's been a tough year. We're looking at inflation. We're looking at people reining in their spending after kind of the peak of the pandemic. So I'm not necessarily surprised, but I am curious to see if this is actually going to work out.
If it will stick with people past what is a habit? A couple of weeks, if they can do it past a couple of weeks?
Exactly. We're going to see if people can actually, one, make a resolution and two, stick with it.
Excellent. Okay, so you have some great tips that will hopefully make this type of resolution a reality for many of our listeners. The first one is save more money. What do you suggest we all do?
Yes, save more money. That's tends to be, if you are making a financial resolution, saving more money tends to be the biggest one. And that's a good one because almost half of Americans do not currently have a rainy day fund.
Hmm.
That's something that you should absolutely be thinking about, especially this year. You're putting yourself at risk of financial catastrophe. There could be a lot of unexpected unemployment this year.
Hmm.
Obviously, major medical expenses is another reason why people kind of get into debt. So, saving more money is a huge resolution. Ultimately, you should build a fund about 12 to 18 months take home income, but starting anywhere for about 6 months of that is a really good step.
Okay. And that's why it's number one here on this list of resolutions for sure. Number two, repay your credit card debt. This one sounds like it could be tough for some. What do you suggest here?
Yeah, this is kind of daunting. I think, when you're making any resolution,
Yeah.
you want to be accountable about it. So you don't want to just say, oh, I'll repay my credit card debt. That sounds pretty lofty. You want to, give yourself a number that you can actually reach by the end of the year. So I would say shoot for a number, repay 20% of your credit card debt. That's a very doable number by the end of the year. Americans owe way too much credit card debt. We set records every year. Last year we hit it at $1 trillion, and we
Ugh.
will probably, yeah, we'll probably do that again this year. So you want to not only set a goal for it, but like set some intentions, put a number to it. 20% is very doable, I would say, for most people. So that is kind of the goal here. Repay 20% of your debt. That would amount to about $1,800 for the average
Okay.
person this year.
That now that you put the numbers out there, it almost doesn't sound that bad. And you're also not giving it a deadline. You're saying basically through the entire year, not, get that debt paid in 6 weeks or something. You're saying do it across the entire year of 2023.
Exactly. So that way you can hold yourself accountable. You can kind of track your progress as you go. Just putting a number to it instead of just, oh, I'll repay my credit card debt, I think is
Right.
very helpful.
Okay, good, good. Another one, fight back against inflation. Now, this is one of those also that, we've been talking so much about everything costing more. How can we fight? I like this idea, but I want to know more.
Yeah. So after months of heightened inflation, everything costs more,
Hmm.
portions are smaller, your bank accounts are also smaller. um, but there are, steps you can take. You can move your money to a high yield bank account. The average checking account from a national bank is just yielding around 0.1%. There's online checking accounts that yield up to 5% because they don't
Ah,
have to, you know, cover the overhead. So even like small things like that, just moving your money around, not necessarily investing, but just moving it to like a smarter bank account helps. You could save 5% at your favorite retailers by getting their store credit cards. Most of them have $0 annual fees. Most of them give you up to 5% back on every purchase. So, if you're spending this money anyway, you can be getting money back. So
hmm.
just, ways to stretch your money further in the face of inflation, shopping around for everything you buy, taking advantage of deals and coupons, turning the thermostat down, buying in bulk, all
Yes.
of these little things to help fight back for inflation because it's affecting all of us.
It really is. I really like the idea of fighting it, though, too. It makes it feel that you might be out there with others, kind of thinking that same idea and getting back out there. And the ideas that you put with the fighting inflation are very doable. So thank you for those. Um, the last one we have on the list is make your budget realistic, but then you got to stick with it. Tell us more about this one.
Yeah, so this is tough. Any of these are pretty tough.
Yeah.
Most people, when we ask them how long they plan to stick with their resolutions, said not long. They said maybe through January.
Oh,
So this is an important one to, stick with all year. Before you make a budget, you have to make sure that it's realistic. So an easy way to do that, gather your bills, look at them online from the past few months,
yeah.
make a list of all your recurring expenses, and then rank them in order of importance. So housing, food, healthcare, they probably will take the top spots.
Hmm.
And then after that, you can simply cut from the bottom of your list until your take home income exceeds what you plan to spend. So that's kind of the important thing here, list things, cross off from the bottom, and then keep track of your monthly spending throughout the year
Yeah.
to make sure that you're actually abiding by your budget and sticking to it.
See, and Jill, again, you're saying through the year. You're not saying this is something you have to do in January and that's it. Just keep tracking it throughout the year and writing things down. It just makes sense.
Exactly. You want to keep yourself accountable. That's the key to any type of New Year's resolution. But,
Excellent.
making sure that you stick to it. We're all on pace to end 2022 with a little bit of credit card debt.
Yeah.
That's not surprising and it's okay. So, one, not beating yourself up about it. And then two, just really making sure that you're being realistic about managing it.
Okay. I love to ask, what do you think is the bottom line when it comes to making a financial resolution for 2023?
I think it's the same as any resolution. We like to create these lofty goals for ourselves,
Yes.
but coming up with a number that you can hold yourself accountable to, that you can easily track month by month, I think is very helpful specifically for these financial resolutions. So, if it's repaying 20% of your credit card debt, if it's
Hmm.
saving X amount more money per month, hold yourself to a number. Don't make it so lofty and stick to it. Be reasonable.
You do all that and imagine how good you'll feel at the end of 2023.
Exactly. And that's
Yeah.
that's what it's all about, feeling good at the end of 2023. So as long as we can get there, I think that we're on the right track.
I have to agree with you. Everybody, that's Jill Gonzalez, a spokesperson for WalletHub. Jill, thank you so much for joining us to talk about resolutions, especially as important as your finances. We really appreciate it.
Anytime, and Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you and to everyone listening. I'm Teri Barr, and this is your PennyWise podcast from Lee Enterprises. We'll talk to you again soon.